Well, good afternoon. It's 2 o'clock. I'm meteorologist Nicholas Herboso here in the Gulfstream Center. We're talking STORMtracker Alert Day for today, or really tomorrow, as we get into Wednesday morning. This is for a couple of things that we're thinking about, one of which being the potential for rain and maybe even some freezing rain inland. And then we have a hard freeze coming our way that could bring dangerous cold, pipe-bursting cold to the Gulf Coast. There is a lot to talk about. There's a lot of people that are paying attention because of school closures. So we're going to try to get through it. I am monitoring the comments as well, so you can answer your questions. I'm going to try to answer the questions probably towards the end, just so I can kind of get a better flow there. But I'll see those questions and we'll try to address them at some point. But once again, it is a STORMtracker Alert Day for us here on the Gulf Coast. This is for an Arctic blast coming our way, and also the potential of maybe even some freezing rain inland. We're going to kind of start big picture, so bear with me for a little bit. I kind of want to give you a little bit of background on what's happening, then we'll kind of go more direct and get to more solid things. Just to give you a quick idea of what's going on, we have a big trough dipping down in the United States, and what's happening is we have cold air that is plunging south. It has been plunging south really for the past couple of days, and now this dip in the jet stream is allowing it to get to us. So with that, we're going to have a big blast of cold air coming our way. And let's talk about it. First, let's talk about the current conditions. And this is what we have right now. As you can see, Nashville is at 13 degrees, a very cold 13 degrees with snow. Birmingham is at 43. No snow there yet, but they could have their issues with wintry precipitation at some point. And then we're at 68 degrees in Mobile. We have a boundary that's separating the cold air and the warmer air. And right now that is protecting us from any cold air getting our way, at least for this afternoon. It's actually a fantastic afternoon out there for us. We have no rain issues, but I do want to show you where the snow is right now, because there is some snow on the board. Take a look at Tennessee, northern Mississippi, northern Alabama, dealing with some heavier snow. In fact, I got some conversations of people getting up to 5 inches of snow in North Alabama. That's incredible. Huntsville getting a lot of snow now. Snow pretty much along the line from Hamilton to just north of Coleman, and then getting you all the way up to northeastern Alabama. So Florence, Huntsville, Decatur dealing with periods of heavy snow out there. Also northern Mississippi, heavy snow. Oxford, Tupelo, Mississippi, dealing with heavy snow there. Then you look to the south and you see that pink. That pink is freezing rain. And that freezing rain will be moving on east tonight. In fact, we're starting to see some development of rain showers to our south as well. And that is going to be coming our way, of course, later today. So I am now joined by Chief Meteorologist Jason Smith. And
I just snuck in here on Nicholas a little bit here. So.
Snuck in. So we're going to keep talking about this because a lot of people are paying attention. A lot of people are paying attention.
Definitely, and it only takes a bit of the accumulation of ice to cause for problems with the roadways. One of the things I was thinking about driving in, though, is that just not going to see the type of accumulation of freezing rain to cause for any power outages, but we may see some slick spots up into the inland spots. If you're in Mobile or you're over on the eastern shore and you're thinking big ice storm, this is just not it.
Yeah, in fact, I think we've been trying to kind of message that clearly. This is not your widespread big ice event of what, 2014?
2014 ice apocalypse.
Yeah, this is not that. This is very light accumulation, if any.
If any, and then what will happen through the day, temperatures come up a little bit and all the moisture is going to evaporate off the road. So we're not worried about the hard freeze coming in the second night and refreezing or anything like that. But this has been an impressive winter storm in northern Mississippi and northern Alabama. And one of the things that's going on, in addition to there being some snow and some freezing rain, but there's some significant sleet going on right there. It's all about where the cold air is and how thick it is in the atmosphere. And when you have real shallow air, cold air, you get freezing rain. You get a little bit more robust cold air and you get sleet. If it's cold top to bottom, cloud all the way down to the ground, you get snow. So quite an interesting winter weather event unfolding.
Yeah.
We'll see some precip, it looks like, later tonight, but it probably won't start freezing until the early morning hours.
And as I mentioned, we see, this may be a little bit of radar turn stuff, but just north of New Orleans, we're starting to see some of that precipitation developing. And this is interesting. This front has just been holding strong. And
yeah, it's warm outside in Mobile.
Yes.
So, you know, and I was going to get Nicholas to show me what's the difference between Mobile and Hattiesburg with the temperatures right now. I mean, there should be quite the gradient between Mobile and Hattiesburg and then Jackson, Mississippi.
So there's that front right there. So you see what they have, and this is the Weather Prediction Center now. So now let's look at those temperatures.
Yeah.
So Hattiesburg's at 50. Okay.
Okay.
Meridian's at 46, and then Jackson's at 29. So a complete contrast there. I mean, you can see clear as day where that boundary is. They had it drawn a little bit more to the south, but I mean, place that right there. That's a boundary that's protecting us at this moment. But tonight, that does change. In fact, I'm going to zoom out. look at Nashville, 13 degrees, 13 in Memphis.
Yeah, that's quite the gradient. I don't know if I've ever seen 68 to 13 across basically a state. I mean, you know, it's probably 68 in Pascagoula, and it's probably 13 or 14 in South Haven, just south of Memphis. So if you look at the state of Mississippi, I mean, that's quite the contrast from one part of the state to the other. It really takes about 5 hours to go from South Mississippi to North Mississippi driving. So
it's one of those situations where you drive a little bit and your weather completely changes.
Right, you get out of the car and you're like, what happened?
Yeah.
And those are your winter storm warnings and winter weather advisories, and this is a large winter storm is covering quite a bit of geography here.
Yeah, it's like a streak of paint, and that's exactly where the snow is. So that pink is the winter storm warning, but for us, we have a winter weather advisory, and this is really because of that chance of light freezing rain in our inland communities.
Yeah, you know, it's hard because a lot of times we'll say, hey, we've got a winter weather advisor, and everybody says, is it going to snow? I have my kids asking me, you know, will we see snow? And I think the chance of snowflakes is about 0 here, but we could see some light freezing rain. It's just looking at the atmospheric profile, real thin freezing layer right at the surface.
Yes, in fact, I was actually looking at some of those profiles last night, just kind of assessing, because I got some questions about how far south will this go. And there's some interesting artifacts in the models, but one clear thing that we see is that just aloft, just above the surface, there is this warm nose. There is this layer of air above freezing. That's why this is going to fall as rain, not as anything else.
Right.
So, other things that we're thinking about, we have a hard freeze warning. This is more for Wednesday morning. I think Wednesday morning, this is the time where we have the most significant cold air. I mean, we're going to be in the teens. That's what it says, temps in the teens expected, especially for Wednesday morning. And with that, we have a wind chill advisory because it will still be just a little breezy, and single-digit wind chills are definitely
Are we still looking at 4 or 6 or something like that?
Yes, yeah. Grove Hill, the morning run was 5. So.
Well, that, you know, and when it's 68 degrees outside, and everybody says, hey, I thought it was supposed to get cold. It's going to get cold. And it'll start with a little light freezing rain. You'll probably notice it tomorrow morning. And then temperatures never really get up to more than about upper 30s, maybe 40 tomorrow. And then we have that hard freeze centered up for tomorrow night. So it's coming. It's just not quite here yet.
So, and I have this behind you here. So I wanted to break this down because I got a lot of questions even when I was doing midday earlier, and we were just talking about it in studio. I kind of split it into two kind of, not parts, but I guess you could say it. There's 2 parts to this. We have this freezing rain potential.
Right.
Starts raining tonight. Rain showers come in. Then inland, that cold air starts to work in near the surface, and we get those freezing rain. Most models are isolated, as we've seen, but that does still mean possible slick spots. It only takes a little bit.
And then we get into the much colder weather tomorrow night, and you may be wondering what's freezing rain, because there's different types of winter precipitation, and snow, you know, it forms in the cloud as a snow crystal and makes it all the way down to the ground as a white flake. Sleet is when you have snow up in the upper atmosphere. It may melt into a raindrop, then it refreezes into a pellet, and then it bounces when it hits. It's like small hail, basically. Yes. And then you have freezing rain where it comes down as liquid, and then when it hits, it freezes on contact. Now, that's not a problem for most of the main roadways because it's been 68 degrees today.
And mostly we've had sunshine.
Right, so the ground is still going to be pretty warm, but a bridge, the air can get up underneath those bridges and those overpasses, And those features can cool down very quickly to freezing, and that's where we may really see some slick spots. And it'd be tricky because you're driving down the road, you're like, the road's wet, but it's not frozen. It's just freezing in the trees or freezing on my windshield. And then you hit a bridge, and it's a skating rink.
Yes, exactly. So, and that's the thing. This will probably be spotty road impacts that we're seeing. And so that's the concern for them. And as you mentioned earlier, we go about to 40 degrees, maybe 39 degrees in Tuesday afternoon. Then Tuesday night into Wednesday morning, there's the teens and single-digit wind chill.
Right, and we've seen this before, but it's always a good reminder when you have a hard freeze. It's different than the light freezes we've seen. You know, you do have to think about the pipes. If you have a home that's off the ground, especially, the colder air can get up underneath the house. Like beach houses, coastal properties, you got to drain the water out of those things.
And we're getting down to single-digit wind chills down there.
Right.
And exposed pipes and wind chill, that becomes a problem.
It does, because it forces the colder air. You know, okay, if the wind chill, if the air temperature is, let's say, 17, but the wind chill is 5, it doesn't mean that it's really 5. It just feels like 5. But that wind drives that 17-degree air into all kinds of places and gets it underneath houses and around exposed pipes. And that's why covering those things can help some too. So outdoor faucets. If you've got an older home that's not well insulated, it's a good idea to drip the pipes. So just some things to think about. This only happens usually about once a year or once every other year. So definitely want to plan ahead. And you can begin those preparations today when it's warm outside.
Yeah, and I've got a couple extra reminders about that in here. But first, I want us to let's talk freezing rain. Let's get through this and talk about the questions here with what's happening. I have overlaid the temperatures over Futurecast here. And this is with the graph model. And this model in particular is doing a good job of representing how scattered this may be. Notice the little specks of green, the rain showers, they are very, very showery. So 10 o'clock tonight, we're in the 40s. There's a 39 in Jackson. And we watch for the temperatures to drop below freezing. So here's 4 a.m. and now you can see our northern areas. This is north and west of I-65 has dropped below freezing. That pink you see, that's rain. Just falling as rain, but it's freezing on contact, freezing rain. And so 30 in Jackson by 4 a.m., 31 Leakesville, that's enough for freezing rain. And the rest of us, especially if you're south of I-10, it is just rain showers.
Right, above freezing there, and maybe a brief period of some light freezing rain or light freezing drizzle. But this is going to be going on with a dry, cold north wind, and that should help to dry the roads out some. And we will get above freezing tomorrow afternoon, which should really help. And you're probably wondering, hey, why did they close schools in Baldwin County and in Mobile County? Well, you know, Mobile County, while we may not see any significant accumulation of freezing rain in Mobile, it's possible we may see that up in the northern part of the county. So the school system is making a decision based on the entire county and buses running from who knows where to who knows where. And so that's why they've got the schools closed out. But it looks like we will have school on Wednesday, despite the fact it's going to be a cold morning.
Yes, in fact, Baldwin County, I'll go ahead and say this, and I'll have the school closures pulled up, and I can go over that in a second. But Baldwin County is delaying Wednesday morning, which I think is reasonable because it's going to be so cold everywhere.
Yeah, it's just going to be a cold morning, and a lot of kids don't have the right coats and jackets and that kind of thing. And
I mean, that's tough to wait by the bus.
Wait
for the bus out.
When the wind chill's 5.
Yes.
Right, no doubt.
So now we're going to switch models here. And this one is the higher resolution version of the graph model. It goes a shorter time period. You can see those clouds rolling in, and we can kind of see the onset of the rain with this. So 10 o'clock, those isolated showers begin to move in. Then there's 1 a.m., and you can see Greene, Washington, Clarke County, showery conditions of rain that'll be freezing rain. The rest of us, just rain. And pushing us as far as it goes to 2:15 a.m., you can see those northwestern counties dealing with the freezing rain. Now let's go to the HRRR. And this picture is different. It's a little more coverage in rain.
Right, yeah, and so, you know, this is going to be light precip. We don't expect any more than maybe 1/10 of an inch of rain. There's hardly anything going on. At daybreak, briefly, we could see some light freezing rain, Bay Minette, northern stretches of Mobile, and just about the time the cold air gets in place, the precip is getting out of here. So,
I mean, that's sunshine by 2:30.
Yeah, the sunshine should help some to clean up the roads and that kind of thing if there is any residual ice. and it's showing, you know, 2/100ths of an inch of ice around Chatham. That's just really not that much. 1/100th of an inch around Mobile. I don't think that's enough to cause any significant travel problems. We're going to watch out for that. That's why this is more of an advisory type situation and not a winter storm warning. So not a major ice storm, a little bit of light icing going on, and we're going to have more coverage coming up this afternoon and this evening here on Fox 10 News as we continue to track this unusual weather, something we don't normally see this far south.
Yeah, no, definitely. And just looking at some of the questions to clarify this, any little bit of ice issues, and they would be little, would happen Tuesday morning. Because remember, Tuesday afternoon, as we were showing,
it's above freezing.
It's above freezing. We're done with that. But then Wednesday comes that hard freeze. I just want to show this map real quick just to have it. This is kind of a simpler explanation of it, really. Anywhere you see in pink, those northern areas, north and west of I-65, that's where you have the light freezing rain. The rest of this, the cold rain showers. Okay, I want to switch gears real quick. I want to talk about Wednesday morning hard freeze. So there's that hard freeze warning once again with temperatures in the teens expected. That's that coldest time on Wednesday morning. Here's the lows, and those are the teens there. 19 Mobile, 13 Grove Hill, 20 at Gulf Shores.
Right.
So that's, I mean, that's downright cold air.
It's cold, but we don't expect the roads to be a problem Wednesday morning. So the main issue will just be making yourself comfortable, maybe running out there in your heaviest coat and cranking the car up and going back inside and finishing the cup of coffee and then running out and getting on your way. I mean, there's some parts of the United States that this is a normal day when it gets in the teens, but it's just not something we deal with all that often. So we're not expecting there to be travel problems beyond whatever happens in that brief window tomorrow morning. By Wednesday morning, it'll just be dry and super cold.
Yeah, in fact, the sun will probably be out during this. But it will be windy, and that's something that we've got to think about.
Yeah, wind chills. And then we've got this cold blast comes through. Look at the winds tomorrow. I mean,
tomorrow morning.
It's hard to imagine, as warm as it is out there today, that tomorrow with temperatures around freezing and a wind at 25 miles an hour, gusting 20, gusting to 30, that we're going to have that substantial of a change, but it will be a sharp contrast. So,
and there has been a good trend in the models for us as we get to Wednesday morning.
Right. Notice
that the winds, these are wind gusts that do back off a little bit, which is a nice thing to see. Either way, we still deal with single-digit wind chills. That's a 9 in Gulf Shores.
That's a cold day at the beach, and we've got this cold spell. It looks like it'll begin to moderate Wednesday afternoon. Most likely another substantial cold spell the following weekend. So I actually went out and cut up a little firewood and that kind of thing, and, you know, do some weatherproofing on the house and just the little things you can do to make sure you're going to be comfortable the next couple of nights and then again this weekend.
Yeah, so to go back over some of these things that we have that you need to be doing, of course, drip the pipes, and I'll mention more about that in a second, but yes, that's something that needs to happen. Plants, this might be something for bigger plants as well.
Right. Normally we don't worry too much about covering your citrus trees and your azaleas and some of your native plant varieties, but in this particular case, you know, anything that you're concerned about getting hit by the cold, may want to think about protecting some of those plants. So,
and because, I mean, even if we're cold Tuesday morning, we say generally cold. We're not freezing, but we're just generally cold. And then the bottom falls out Wednesday morning. That's kind of a longer period of cold there. Also, if you're out Wednesday morning, just make sure you have the ways to stay warm. I mean, you're going to need your jacket, like the big boy jackets.
Heavy coats, extra layers, you know, just maybe some thermal underwear or wool socks, those kind of things. It's just a little something to give you an edge on Wednesday morning. But it will warm up again. We're going to be okay. We'll make it through this. But we will see the potential. We do have a STORMtracker Alert day just to increase the awareness about it being cold and how to handle your pipes and how to make things, protect the pipes and trickle your pipes.
So here's the tip for protecting the pipes. So I'll read this out. To prevent pipes from freezing in cold weather, run cold water from the faucet farthest from the water meter. If you don't know, just drip the pipes. Just drip the faucets. But the cold water, drip it at a trickle there, and keep that faucet dripping, of course, until the temperatures are consistently above freezing. That's the way to drip the pipes to get you going and protect yourself there. Now, as Jason mentioned, we do get another shot of cold air.
No doubt.
Come
Saturday at 22, you know, and sometimes it's that second cold spell that's actually harder on the pipes, even if temperatures are up a couple of degrees. If the ground gets a little colder, then, you know, people tend to let their guard down. They're thinking, okay, well, everything's fine. And then we hit 22 Saturday morning and we have busted pipes. So
yeah.
Something definitely to watch out for there. And Sunday, we're going to have more potential hard freezing temperatures in the forecast.
Yep, so here's that extended outlook for you, and that is, I have not reset this.
Okay.
See, this is always what happens. It's my first run of the PM version of the 7-day.
Ignore the STORMtracker Alert day on Wednesday and Thursday.
Yeah, and ignore MLK Day on Tuesday.
Yeah.
Either way, you can see what the temperatures are. Wednesday morning 19, and Tuesday only getting to 40 degrees. So, yeah, that's what we're dealing with there, and we need to be ready for that for sure. So. That's what we're tracking right now for us here. And I'm monitoring the questions here. So if you have any questions, be sure to drop them. I have both streams up and ready to go. So if you have any questions, please sure to ask them, and I'll kind of recycle through some of these things that we have. Once again, tonight, this evening, we're fine. Get your stuff done.
Right.
Go protect your pipes.
Sure.
But then as we get to later tonight, that's when the rain starts, and then.
Yeah, and don't worry about dripping the pipes tonight. This is just a prep day and night. It's going to be tomorrow evening. You need to start thinking about that. So still got a little time to go there. Looks like one real cold night for us with this particular cold spell. Yeah. Tomorrow morning in the upper 20s, that's really just a light freeze for us. So yes. That's not a big deal.
And then I'll go ahead and show this. This is the forecast highs.
Terrible. Tough day. At least we'll get some sun in the afternoon. But a high of 40 is not good in Mobile, no doubt.
So that's, again, just kind of repeating it, what we got there. Freezing rain possible in areas tonight. Not expecting major travel issues inland at all, but possibly some slick spots out there. And then temperature will keep on going down. And then also have the wind chill to deal with Wednesday morning. Here's the Wednesday morning lows where we're in the teens. And then wind chills in the single digits, so get ready for that. And that's the kind of story. So getting ready for a very, very cold day tomorrow, and then even colder on Wednesday. That's what we're tracking here. We'll have more updates coming up. I'm going to be on at 3 p.m.,
right.
And then you're going to take it from there all the way through.
Sounds good. And you know, winter weather is definitely very interesting. It can be problematic. Mm-hmm. In this particular case, I don't think it'll be a high-impact event, but two-phased event, a little light freeze and rain first thing in the morning tomorrow. Then that will clear up. And then we get into a hard freeze the following night. So.
Yeah. A couple things. If you do get freezing rain and you happen to get pictures of it, because it sometimes causes glaze, send it to us, Fox 10 Weather app. We want to see those pictures. I really want to see those pictures because everybody up north, I'll tell you right now, is getting snow pictures.
Sure, and even if it's just a little bit of frozen precip on your grill or on your car windshield or something like that first thing tomorrow morning, we'd love to see the pictures.
And then also just make sure to tune in. We're going to be live streaming through 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, and I believe 5 o'clock as well because we have programming on. We have basketball games, bowling, there's the Emmys, there's a lot of stuff going on tonight. So we are live streaming the newscast, same place you can be watching this on the Fox 10 Gulf Stream. That's good there. But yeah, that's what we're tracking right now. So prepare for the cold coming in. It's a big Arctic blast.
I'm going to go get my jacket now.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us.